Hello everybody, and welcome to NASCAR News Kid. Today we will be talking about Joey Logano winning at Atlanta, winning his way into the round of 12. But before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, so you'll be able to be updated whenever we post a new video. And without further ado, let me introduce you to the NASCAR News Kid.
Hello everybody. That was one exciting first race to the NASCAR playoffs of 2024. What should we start with?
Well, maybe we should start out with the last time Logano won here. It was in the same paint scheme as last time.
Yeah. So, let's start out with a recap here.
Well, first of all, Michael McDowell was on pole, and stage 1 looked to be clean and green.
Until Kyle Larson got loose. All of a sudden, unsure if it was a tire, but it was most likely him getting loose. He spins.
And then Briscoe comes out of nowhere and hits him. The reason? Briscoe couldn't see where he was going because of all the smoke. Sorry about that for you Briscoe fans.
Stage 1 goes to Ryan Blaney. Since the caution comes out. And then
Eric Jones tries the high line first in stage 2. It seems to be successful. And then there's a caution for debris on the track.
Yeah. And then they go back green, I believe.
Yes, they do.
And then Cindric wins stage number 2.
And it looks like it was going to be a Penske sweep. And as we'll see later, it was. Spoiler alert. Well, later in the race, Nemechek spins and hits the wall. The inside wall. Luckily, he was able to continue, but he finished 4 laps down.
And then Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace stay out in that caution?
Well, it was a very good strategy. It just seems to have not worked out in the end.
And then they went green, and then there was an incident. Blaney got sideways. Caution comes out.
A few cars get hit, but no major incidents in that wreck.
He saved it. Gibbs leads with 5 to go. We're coming up on something really funny.
And
Suarez takes the lead, and then we have a caution.
For a Walmart sign. It fell on the track and caused a caution. Well, it's a high-speed track. What would you expect? And from now on, Walmart, you gotta place your signs in better places, because that was awful.
Advertising for the wrong reason.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that, Gibbs probably could have won this race.
And then they went back green, and then Gregson spins.
He gets shoved too hard by Harrison Burton, and then Noah Gragson just hits the inside wall, spins, he's out of the race.
And then they have overtime.
Logano and Blaney on the inside, Suarez and Chastain on the outside. It seemed to be a very exciting finish, and trust me, it did not disappoint.
And Chastain can't keep up with Suarez. Blaney gives a huge shot to the back bumper of the 22. And on the backstretch, Chastain's into the wall. They're wrecking in turn 3 and 4. And Joey Logano runs to the checkered flag.
And he is locked into the round of 12. It's very good for him to be able to get into the round of 12, because otherwise it would probably be a rough round of 16 for him.
Yeah, so top results here. Let's start things off with the results. Top 10 here. Joey Logano wins the race, advances to the round of 12. Daniel Suarez, another playoff driver. Second, Ryan Blaney. Third, a playoff driver. And fourth, Christopher Bell, also a playoff driver. So top 4 playoff drivers so far. But that's not done yet.
Then we got Bowman and Reddick, who are also playoff drivers.
5th and 6th.
Then we got our first party pooper, I guess you could say. Kyle Busch. He finishes in 7th place. Just 1 number off of his number. And then we got Elliott, Byron, and Cindric. All 3 of them are playoff contenders.
I'm sighing for a reason. Busch still hasn't won yet this season.
We're just hoping that he keeps that at least 1 win a year streak alive.
Yeah, 11th, Daniel Hemrick, not a playoff driver, as well as Justin Haley and Chastain, 12th and 13th. They're not playoff drivers. 14th, Ricky Stenhouse, unfortunately not a playoff driver. 15th, Corey LaJoie. 16th, and Carson Hocevar, also not playoff drivers.
And we can see that the strategy didn't work for Ty Gibbs because Ty Gibbs, a playoff driver trying to go for his strongest and first playoff run, he finishes 17th.
Ryan Preece, 18th, unfortunately didn't make the playoffs either. 19th for Brad Keselowski. Interesting points for him. Austin Dillon, 20th. He's not a playoff driver. 21st for Zane Smith. 22nd for Michael McDowell. Both non-playoff drivers, as well as J.J. Yaley, 23rd in that 44 machine. Good run for him.
Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, he's been struggling all weekend from a horrible qualifying and an even worse race. He couldn't keep up with the pack, but we heard later in the race that Hamlin was trying to avoid the wrecks. Ironically, on the last lap, he got involved in it.
Bad strategy. 25th for BJ McLeod, 26th for Eric Jones, 27th for Todd Gilliland, 28th Josh Berry, 29th for Bubba Wallace. He stayed out with Ty Gibbs, and 30th for Cody Ware. Most of those are non-playoff drivers. Actually, all of them are that I just named there.
And then we go to the lap downs and DNFs. First, we have Harrison Burton, who was stuck at the start-finish line when Logano was about to do his burnout.
Yeah, we thought it was going to destroy his celebration, but it didn't. 32nd for SVG, 2 laps down. 33rd for John Hunter Nemechek, 4 laps down. 34th for Noah Gragson, he's DNF. 35th for Martin Truex Jr., unfortunately, minus 12 laps down. 36th for Chris Buescher, he is DNF after that race. And then the final 2.
Larson and Briscoe. We talked about them earlier, but it's just disappointing. And also with Hamlin and Truex, it seems like the veterans at Joe Gibbs really struggled at the super speedway.
I'm not complaining. Briscoe made the playoffs.
That's an accomplishment in itself. Well, let's take a quick look at playoff standings before we go.
Gibbs leaves +1.
That's a very slight margin, but we'll just see how that sorts out at Watkins Glen and Bristol. They both seem to be pretty good for him, but we'll just see how it all plays out.
Gibbs ran up front in Watkins Glen Xfinity races.
And it was probably the closest he ever was to winning at Bristol earlier this year.
Brad Keselowski, what do you think of him? -1.
Well, the Glen doesn't look too good for him, but if he has a good Bristol race, chances are he'll probably make the round of 12.
Yeah. Burton, -20 or so, as well as Truex and Briscoe.
All 3 of them just had terrible races. Burton started 11th or 12th. He seemed to be up front, and then a few wrecks happened, shuffled up the field. It actually looked like Burton was going to have a promising playoff run.
Yeah, he was in the top 15 for most of the start. Well, what are your thoughts on this first playoff race of 2024?
Well, I'm happy that Logano was able to move on, but it really is upsetting for some of the other drivers that tried different strategies, and unfortunately it just didn't work out.
Yeah, like Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace, though one of them isn't in the playoffs, and that is Bubba Wallace. They did not. Their strategies didn't work. Wallace crashed on the final lap, unfortunately.
And also Denny Hamlin. His strategy didn't work out. It's just, the super speedways, they're so random, you never know what's going to happen. No matter how good or bad it looks like people are going to do.
Yeah, Hamlin. Very disappointing.
It really looked like Suarez was going to sweep the Atlanta races. But it turns out it was a Penske sweep for stages 1, 2, and 3.
And I'm really surprised Daniel Suarez was up front. Not kidding. I did not think he would be up front for both Atlanta races. I thought Atlanta number 1 was just by chance.
Well, keep in mind, he has been fairly consistent at Atlanta, so we can expect that again in the future. I don't really expect a win coming soon, but definitely seeing him to run up front at Atlanta from here on out.
That helps him with future rides as well. I believe he is confirmed next year for Trackhouse, so that's nothing to worry about. But way off in the future, running up front more consistently will be better for him.
definitely. That's for sure. But Penske better get the broom out because they definitely swept the Atlanta race.
And Cindric, high in standings. That is good.
Yeah, he's like 27 points above the cut or something.
So I don't believe he's as good on road courses as he used to be.
Well, that might be true, but since the playoffs started, Cindric has definitely some momentum since he made the playoffs, so maybe he'll make the round of 12. We have no idea.
Yeah, maybe he'll sneak by. But yeah, overall, really great race. I'd rate this race, though.
I'd probably say an 8.
Debris caution.
I think the Walmart debris was funny, but
That was funny, but
once
yeah.
again, Walmart, think again before you place your sponsorship.
Yeah, and they took down the other sponsor sign up there. I forget what it was.
I think it was the Quaker State because
Yeah,
that was the name of the event.
Yeah, but make better signs to stay up there. But yeah, overall, great race. Racing was awesome. Debris cautions were kind of crazy, but overall, really great race. And I hope to see a little better of racing. It wasn't as great as earlier this year, I thought.
But still, Atlanta is probably the best track out there this year.
The finish was pretty good.
Well, that'll conclude it for today's video, so be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell.
Yep. Well, we'll see you in the next video. Until next time.
We're the NASCAR News Kids.
Yep. And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.